Hello and welcome to another episode of the Awakening NPC. My name is Abby. Thank you so much for joining me. So our first video today is a little bit longer than what I normally do, but I think it has some really great information in it. It's all about, waking up, being awakened. What are the steps? What happens? It's a really good video that this gentleman put out, and when I saw it, I wish I had seen it like a year or two ago, and I felt it would have helped me out greatly. So I'm gonna play that for you, and then we're gonna follow up with some clips that kind of enforce what that video says. So with all that, let's get to it.
You have slept for so long. You've been a sheep all your life.
Why did you wake me up?
Because it's time to remember who you are and what you are here to do.
Okay, I'm awake. What's next?
Awareness. This is where you become aware of your external and internal world.
So how do I gain awareness?
By seeking knowledge,
And after that,
you become a fully conscious being.
how?
Come with me. That is the house of clouds.
What's that?
I call it the house of knowledge.
Okay.
One of the most important part of this process is embarking on the journey of knowledge. Some believe that the cloud is like a universal storage system, just like the concept of the Akashic field. Once you are awakened and open-minded, you gain access to unlimited knowledge from source.
So how do I gain knowledge?
The truth have always been around you. In books, entertainment, and even the media, all you need to do is seek.
I've heard people talk about spiritual awakening. Can you explain what it really means?
The awakening is a deep realization. It's a point in your life where you begin to break free from thoughts, ideas, or patterns that have held you back for so long.
Okay, so how long does it take to awaken?
Awakening was never meant to last forever, although there are stages of awakening.
Okay.
Each stage is like an initiation process. It opens your eyes to new levels of enlightenment.
Can you explain further?
It is the moment you realize who you truly are by stepping into your power.
Okay, how do I know it's time for me to step into my power? Because I've been going through this awakening for some time now.
You step into your power by taking action. Once you've received the knowledge, the next step is to use what you've gained.
So how do I know when is the right time for me to act? Because I've been seeing signs and synchronicities. I've been reading spiritual books, searching for the truth, watching content. I just want to know when is the right time for me.
This is where many of you get stuck. You keep searching, waiting for more signs, more downloads, more confirmations. But the truth is that you are ready now.
Okay?
The awakening was just a preparation. It's time to start creating and not just consuming.
So what happens when the spiritual awakening is over?
Once you're done with any stage, you become an embodiment of all you've received. You no longer just talk about spiritual truths, you live them. You don't just learn about energy, you command it.
Okay?
At this point, you embody all you've learned.
So what are the signs that my awakening is complete?
Okay, the first sign is recognizing who you are. You realize that you're not just a part of the universe. You're not just a child of God, but you are God experiencing life through human form.
Okay?
You begin to understand that everything is connected and you are not separate from God. You stop searching for God outside of you because you realize that you and God are one.
So what's next?
You no longer look for signs and synchronicities to confirm that you're on the right path. You just trust because you know you're exactly where you're meant to be.
So does that mean that life becomes perfect?
No, challenges and obstacles still comes, but the difference is that you don't fight them. You no longer see difficulties as punishment. You understand that everything is happening for you and not to you. And with this realization, you see lessons in difficult situations and you learn from it.
Okay, so what's next?
The next step is trusting your intuition.
Yeah. Before my awakening, I usually overanalyze. Like most times, I second guess myself. I don't trust some of my ideas. I look for what's trending. I depend on the advice of others. I don't listen to my own inner voice.
Once you've gotten to a stage where you no longer doubt your intuition, you trust your inner voice to be your guide. You know when a situation or person doesn't feel right. You walk and move when your spirit tells you to because you are no longer indecisive. This is one of the clearest signs that your awakening is complete.
What else?
Material desires no longer control you.
So, does that mean that I shouldn't have any material possessions?
No, it means you don't chase them blindly. You allow them to flow naturally without attachment and desperation. This is what makes abundance find you without so much effort.
That's true.
Most people define their worth by money and status until they realize that true wealth is inner peace. True success is working in your purpose.
Okay, I get. The aim is to live in abundance without attachment.
Exactly.
Okay.
Money aligns with your energy.
I used to see money, material possessions, and even status as the goal. But right now, I've come to understand that these things are just tools. They come naturally when you walk in your purpose.
Yes, the next step is embracing peace and solitude. At this point, you're not scared of being alone, looking for constant validation, constant company, looking for excess engagement from the world.
There was a time in my life when solitude felt so uncomfortable. Being alone brought out restlessness, sadness, and even doubt. And most of the times, I'll look for something to distract myself from the silence
Okay.
by playing music, movies, and even social media.
Most people do not understand the importance of solitude. It gives you an unexplainable aura. It allows you to listen to your own voice. Once you master solitude, you don't seek relationships from a place of emptiness because you are whole and fulfilled. You don't tolerate draining relationships. You don't force yourself or force connections on people. You choose to stand alone than surround yourself with fake people. You find yourself comfortable in your own space and presence. Once you reach this stage, you radiate a profound amount of peace, a quiet confidence, and a kind of energy others can feel but might not be able to explain.
Okay?
Solitude gives you the chance to ask yourself questions and seek answers from your higher self.
Yeah, at first, when I came to the realization, it was both overwhelming and isolating because I began to see and notice things that others couldn't.
Yeah, and the final step is a strong call to step into your purpose.
There was a time when I questioned my purpose, why I was here in this world, what I was meant to do with all the knowledge and awareness I have gathered. But now I feel an urgent call to step into it.
This is the strongest sign that your awakening is complete. This sign cannot be ignored. It shows up in every aspect of your life, your thoughts and emotions.
So true.
You wake up with a feeling that you're meant to be doing something greater. It comes with an internal pressure saying you were not awakened just to observe, but to act.
Yes.
Because you've been prepared, guided, and transformed. This calling comes in different forms: a desire to teach, heal, or guide others through your talent, arts, gifts, and other forms of creative expressions.
But I don't have some of the things I need to start.
You may not have all the answers or know every step ahead,
True.
but you are exactly where you're meant to be because you have the right amount of wisdom, experience, and life lessons to carry out your mission. Great one, the waiting is over, the preparation is done, and your mission begins now. Get my new book, Soul's Rebirth, a personal story of awakening.
So I think that video had a lot of great information in it. I especially like the part in terms of talking about solitude because that really reinforces that everything you need is within you. If you just take the time, spend the time to really kind of reconnect with who you are. What do you really believe? What do you really think? What are your values? Take that time and reassess everything. It might be a while since, you've done that. And I know introverts, we are, yes, I'm one. We're used to being alone. We don't need other people around, but that doesn't mean that we still don't need other people in terms of their validation or advice or whatever you may need from them. So it might be a bit easier for introverts to um, experience solitude to find out what's really going on than it is for extroverts, but nonetheless it is a very important thing to do, to, like I said, to reconnect with the real you and find out, like take status of yourself. Where am I? What's going on? And take that time to really reflect and learn and grow and decide what it is you really want to do with your life, or what direction you want to take your life to go in. So plenty of good reasons why this is an important thing to do, and our following videos is just gonna reinforce some of that. So here we go.
Go into the silence. Go and sit down quietly by yourself for 30 to 60 minutes. 30 to 60 minutes. Most people in our society have never sat quietly for 30 to 60 minutes in their entire lives. Yet I will tell you this method works 100% of the time. That any problem that you have, any difficulty, any challenge, any goal that you want to accomplish, if you'll go into the silence and sit quietly and then listen to the still small voice within, this is the key. You will find that at a certain point, probably at about 25 to 30 minutes, your mind will go completely clear, and then a flow of ideas will start to flow into your mind. You'll feel energy welling up inside you, and at a precise moment as you sit there in complete silence, no cigarettes, no coffee, no music, nothing, just complete silence, at a particular moment, your mind will go clear, and wham, exactly the answer you need will come at exactly the right time. And if you will get up and go and carry out that answer, it will turn out to be exactly perfect.
A person who prefers to be alone is either a god or a beast, never an ordinary person. Such a person may seem easygoing on the surface, but in fact, they are very strong inside and dare to face the ups and downs of life alone. People who are solitary often have extremely high perception and sharp insight, and they handle problems quickly, accurately, and decisively. You may never be able to fully understand them. They can be both passionate and ruthless. In fact, most of these people have very good character because they don't gossip, don't like to deal with hypocritical people, and don't bother to scheme against others. They only make friends with those they think are worth associating with. It's not because they think highly of themselves, but because the threshold in their hearts is very high, and not just anyone can enter their circle. Only when they meet their kind will they show their enthusiasm. So if you don't have the trait of being solitary, it's suggested that you stay away from such people because your curiosity and all your thoughts will be seen through by them.
If you do these things alone, you're actually mentally strong. Most people think strength means lifting weights or never crying, but mental strength, that's a whole different level. And if you do these things alone, you're way stronger than you think. First, you enjoy your own company, not just tolerating it, actually vibing alone without needing constant noise or people. That's called emotional independence. It means your happiness isn't rented from others, it's yours. Second, you make decisions without asking 10 people first. Mentally strong people trust their judgment, even if it's scary, even if they mess up, because they'd rather own a mistake than live someone else's idea of right. Third, you process your emotions privately. You don't post vague, sad quotes or chase distractions. You sit with it, think it through, and let yourself feel without a spotlight. That's quiet resilience, the kind no one claps for, but it's rare. Fourth, you leave situations that don't grow you. Toxic friends, draining jobs, relationships that feel like puzzles missing half the pieces. Mentally strong people walk away even when it's hard, not out of ego, but out of peace. And finally, you talk to yourself kindly. When your mind spirals, you don't tear yourself down. You talk yourself through it. That inner voice becomes your best teammate, not your worst critic. If you do even a few of these alone, congrats. You're not just surviving, you're mentally thriving.
So what have all these clips been saying, right? Take the time to reconnect with yourself, the true you, the you that only you know. Maybe you need to reevaluate what you believe, what your values are, what your expectations are, where you want your life to go, what direction are you aiming in. Take the time to reevaluate everything and become more mentally strong. Your brain is like a muscle, and if you don't work it out, it's going to be weak, right? But the more that you do it, the stronger it gets. And I, for one, would rather be taking the time now, while things are still relatively normal, I guess, to to do this, so that way if there is any uncertainty that comes up in the future, I know that I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to be one of those people that have no idea what's happening, what to do, and, just loses their shit. Okay? That's sorry, mom. That is that's not who I want to be. Okay? So that's how I take it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
All the problems in your life often come from three very simple things: the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you react. First is the way you think. Every thought is like a seed planted in your mind. If every day you plant narrow, negative thoughts, it won't be long before they grow into fear, into the very limits that bind you. But if you begin to plant positivity and belief there, so you are opening a door that leads you to new possibilities you never expected. Next is the way you feel. Your emotions are the energy you carry with you each day. If you let yourself get stuck in anger, sadness, or anxiety, well, that energy will pull you lower and lower. But when you learn to nurture gratitude, love, and peace, you will find this world to be much gentler. And finally is the way you react. Things will always happen in life that you cannot control, but it is your reaction that determines what your experience will be. If you simply react unconsciously, you will be carried away by your emotions. But if you know how to stop, take a breath, observe, and then choose consciously, you will turn difficulties into opportunities to grow. So remember this: when you train yourself to think more clearly, feel more healthily, and react more consciously, your inner world will become stable. And when your inner world is stable, the world outside also becomes clearer, less blurry, and less frightening.
All right, now time for those good news clips of the day, and then we'll follow it up with our words of wisdom.
When a cook in Florida went days without seeing his most loyal customer, he couldn't help but grow more and more concerned. And when his gut feeling led him to go check on that customer at his home, what he heard from the other side of the door confirmed that his instinct had just saved his friend's life. 78-year-old Charlie has been visiting the shrimp basket in Pensacola for over 10 years, always sitting at his table by the window where cook Donnell brings him his cup of gumbo. Whenever time allows, Donnell sits and chats with Charlie about anything and everything, and they've become incredibly close over the years. And Donnell isn't the only one with a connection to Charlie. He's become part of the Shrimp Basket family. He shares their employee discount, and staff even threw him a birthday party earlier this year. So when he didn't show up for a few days, everyone was concerned. They tried calling him, but he didn't answer. It was the middle of the workday, but Donnell didn't feel like there was any time to waste, and he took it upon himself to head straight to Charlie's apartment. He knocked twice with no response, but after the third knock and a pause, he heard a weak voice say, "Help, please open the door." Inside, Charlie was collapsed on the floor. He'd fallen, broken 2 ribs, and was completely unable to move. Through tears of both pain and relief, he said he didn't even know how long he'd been there, and that Donnell had saved his life by coming. Paramedics rushed Charlie to the hospital, where he stayed for a week before moving to rehab. Thanks to his Shrimp Basket family, he's now on the mend, with the help of a hand-delivered cup of gumbo from Donnell. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
Here's a few cool people we should know about. 15-year-old Evan Buds was inspired on a camping trip to invent an autonomous sea turtle robot that monitors underwater habitats to measure important data like coral bleaching in a less disruptive way than traditional methods, which won him first place for engineering in the European Union contest for young scientists. And with less than 12 fluent speakers left of an indigenous language called Northern Tuchone, elders like Franklin Lee Patterson from the Nacho-Nyack Dun First Nation are building a digital holographic archive of community objects and language to preserve and hopefully revitalize their culture and spirit. And 10 women in northern Thailand, led by Ratchaprapa Kamphod, have become community firefighters, restoring their local forest with native vegetation, keeping the soil moist, and running an early alert system that keeps their village safe and protects their livelihoods. And Looney Dooney from our community started a generational garden with their science class to replace grass with native plants. I tell little known stories of everyday heroes. See you tomorrow for more.
All right, so finishing up today with our words of wisdom. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on the videos we watched today. I would love to know them. Did you see my dog in the background? um, Thank you so much for joining me again today. I really, truly appreciate it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.